Kwaba, welcome to this week's edition of Ghana in Focus. Myself, Kwame, Ghanaian broadcaster, writer, journalist, podcaster, and entrepreneur. And in this week's edition of Ghana in Focus, it's hopes and aspirations for Ghana in 2025. So we'll talk more about that coming up. But before that, just to remind you that if you like what you hear, please subscribe to Ghana African Focus on YouTube. This year, we're looking to target at least 100 subscribers on YouTube. So this year, we want to get as many subscribers, 100 at least, on YouTube. And also, we are on Spotify. So look out for Ghana African Focus on YouTube. Press subscribe. It's free to subscribe. And hit the notification bell, meaning that every time we upload a new podcast, YouTube will notify you. Likewise, we're on Spotify. So just look out for Ghana / Africa in Focus on Spotify and hit the follow button, meaning that every time I upload a new podcast on Spotify, Spotify will notify you. Again, this year, we want to get near to 1,000 subscribers on Spotify. So far on Spotify, we've got 565. So you want to get to 1,000. So tell your friends, your family, social media networks about Ghana / Africa in Focus. Your powerful podcast for news, views, information on Ghana, and news, views, and information on the African continent. All right, so let's get into this week's podcast, looking at hopes and aspirations for Ghana 2025. So on January 7th this year, John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as Ghana's new president after winning a landslide election in the December 2024 elections. And so there's a lot of hope in Ghana that things will get better under John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government. And the signs so far look good, look positive. And, the ministers have been vetted in the last couple of weeks. So that is going to be finalized in the next week or so. And you will see a new government begin to do its work. And so we're going to name 5 key areas that are very important for Ghana this year, and that we hope that the new NDC government under John Dramani Mahama and Vice President Naana Opoku Agyeman, who, by the way, is Ghana's first female vice president. Yeah. So we hope that the government of those two will take Ghana from where it is now, an economy struggling, a lawless country, a country where there's no rule of law, a country that cannot feed itself, a country that's got a bad system of education, a country that needs urgent infrastructure. We hope that they can get these things at least lay the foundation, because 4 years is not a long time. Mahama's only got 4 years, so 4 years is not a long time to really put your footprint and your stamp on everything. But at least if you make the foundation strong, then the building of the rest of the house should be okay. And so I want to concentrate on 5 key areas that, for me, John Dramani Mahama, Naana Opoku Agyeman, and the NDC government should focus on. Obviously, it goes without saying the first is the economy of Ghana. And that is linked with the cost of living crisis and also the city. And so, as you should be aware by now, Ghana's economy is in a very, very dire situation. The last NPP government basically ransacked Ghana. Yeah, they didn't come to enrich Ghana. They came to enrich themselves. And so Ghana's debt has tripled, and I come to that also as part of the economy, in the last 8 years. Yeah. And John Dramani Mahama and the NDC are going to inherit an economy, a very, very bad economy that's basically in its knees. And as I said in my review of 2024, the first NDC budget, which will be late March and April, but definitely before Easter, that will give us a very, very strong indication as to how the NDC government under John Dramani Mahama and the finance secretary, the finance minister is now being installed, and his name is Dr. Cassio Ataforson. He was a former deputy minister of finance in the last Mahama government, and is also a qualified economist as well. And so that first budget is going to be a very, very important budget because, like I said, that is going to pave the way for the rest of the 4 years under this NDC administration. So the economy is life support machine, and it needs waking up. The cost of living in Ghana, which is part of the economy, is at massive proportions. Inflation in Ghana officially is at 25%. But personally, I think it's triple that, because if you look at food inflation in Ghana alone, the price of yam, tomatoes, onion, cassava, rice, plantain, these basic foodstuffs, right, has risen in some cases in the last 3 years by more than 300%. So how can we say inflation is 25% when every day you go to the market to buy food, right, price changes? Even cement in 2022 was around about 40 cedis. Now, a bag of cement in Ghana is now 110 cedis. Yeah? So in 2 years, it's actually doubled, nearly tripled. And you want to say inflation is 25%? I don't think so. I do not think so. And so this is created along with the greed of Ghanaians, because let's be quite frank here, not all, but some Ghanaians are very, very greedy. They put a markup, right, on a lot of the things that they sell because they want to make quick profit. And we know, yeah, that there is some profiteering going on within parts of Ghana. That is why things are very, very expensive in particular food items. Yeah, because Ghanaians are greedy, and they are the only people who want to be rich overnight when doing a business. It didn't work like that. You got to work at your business to make it, develop it, and grow before you can even break even, let alone make big profit. But Ghanaians want to make big profits, and this eats into their greedy mindset, whereby just one tube of yam, where I go to Canadian market, Agyeman market, the world famous market, a tube of yam that used to sell 10 cedis a tuber is now selling at 80 cedis a tuber. 80 cedis. That's £4. £4. Even in the UK, I don't think we buy a tuber of yam for £4. Yeah? So, how in Ghana, where the thing is grown, how people are saying it for equivalent of £4, it tells about there's some profiteering and marking going on. And so, because of the high costs of particular food items in Ghana, this has created a cost of living crisis whereby many Ghanaians are struggling to make ends meet, struggling to put food on the table, struggling to have 3 square meals a day. Yeah. And the government of John Dramani Mahama must address this cost of living crisis because it is killing the soul of Ghana. Again, the Ghanaian cedi, yeah, under the last NPP Akufo-Addo government, it tripled from even within the tenure of the NDC from 6 Ghana cedis when Akufo-Addo was re-elected in 2021. It more than doubled to 15 Ghana cedis. Yeah, as he was leaving office. Today, just a month after he left office, not even a month yet, the Ghana cedi is still hovering about 15, 16 cedis to $1. And so, the NDC government must again look at the rapid depreciation of the cedi and use measures to ensure that the city is stabilized, because, the last government bought dollars, to stabilize the city, and you can't do that. You can't buy dollar year after year, year after year. You can't buy dollar and expect the city to remain stable. That is artificially, strengthen the city, when there are many, many other ways, like I mentioned before, for example, getting gold reserves to strengthen your currency. And so, we hope that the NDC is able to use prudent economic reforms, economic strategies to make the city appreciate against the dollar and hence stabilize the city. Because when the city is stabilized, that's going to make inflation go down, which in turn will make the cost of living crisis more easier for the Ghanaian populace. Because right now, like I said, things are very, very difficult in Ghana. And we are looking forward with great anticipation to the budget in March or April to see where Ghana goes economically from here. So that's the economy. And that is very, very pressing in terms of what the current NDC government must focus its attention on. Second issue is debt restructuring. Now, under the MPP government headed by Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Ghana, for the first time in its history, entered into debt restructuring. That had a profound effect on people's pensions, people's savings, and also people's investments, particularly their bonds, government bonds. And so this debt restructuring, that was the result of too much borrowing, too much spending, and not enough investment, created a situation whereby Ghana had to go to the IMF to get a loan. And one of the conditions of getting that $3 billion was debt restructuring. So just the other day, Ghana has now come to an agreement with its external creditors to try and restructure debt. Now, again, come the budget in March, April, Attoforson and the NDC government must look seriously at this debt restructure, because the debt restructure is also another fundamental reason why Ghana's economy is not doing well at the moment. Because, if you can't pay your debt, you ain't be able to borrow money. And if you can't borrow money, where are you going to get the money to build infrastructure like schools, roads, hospitals, etc.? And so it's incumbent on Cecil Attoforson, the new finance minister, and the government of the NDC to really, restructure Ghana's particularly external debt in a way that does not overburden the government, that does B, not overburden the population, and that C, makes our debt to GDP ratio more manageable. Because right now, the debt to GDP ratio in Ghana right now is hovering around about 73%, which is very, very high. At one stage, it was about 105%. And so the new NDC government needs to ensure that sound economic management, sound economic principles, and prudent and wise decisions are made to ensure that Ghana's debt is structured in a way that it is manageable and does not eat into, Ghana's, domestic income as well. And so, this is another key issue that is affecting Ghana, particularly within its ability to go in the international market, is this debt restructuring. And so, if the new government is able to get Ghana's debt restructuring to manageable levels, i.e., under 60%, then that will bode well for the next few years. Yeah? So that's debt restriction. Another key issue that the government needs to highlight is galamsey, or illegal small-scale mining. As you may recall, if you are a regular listener to the podcast, that I've done a few podcasts about galamsey, and as you are aware, galamsey, this illegal small-scale mining, has destroyed all but 2 of the water bodies in Ghana, which in turn has polluted our water. And, if things are not done to tackle this menace, Ghana will be importing water in just 5 years' time, 2030. So the government, unlike, again, the Akufo-Addo government that failed to tackle small-scale illegal mining, yeah, because its own people, NPP people, were involved in small-scale mining. Even the chairman of the Asante region of Ghana, right, NPP chairman of the Asante, Chairman Wuntibi, was shown on a Kumasi-based station, I think it's called a Brempong FM, showing off his gold bar, saying that this is real money, not paper money, but the gold bars that I've got is real money. And how did he get the gold bars? Because he's engaged in small-scale mining, illegal small-scale mining. Yeah. And so, this menace of small-scale mining has to be stopped by the NDC. They cannot afford not to stop it because, like I mentioned, it's not just the water bodies at risk. It's not just our health at risk. It's the future of our children. Because, like I said before, newborn babies in Ghana, particularly in the mining areas, are being born with no mouth, are being born with no nose, are being born with teeth on their shoulders, are being born with no hands, with no genitals, with no penis, no vagina. This is the result of the toxic chemicals like mercury, lead, aluminium, arsenic, cyanide in the water that unfortunately people in the mine areas are drinking. Yeah. And this has also resulted in these kind of you could say unhealthy births that are going on. And so, the government must, by any means necessary, even it means have to bring the soldiers. And like I said before, if I was the president of Ghana, I would do Operation Shoot to Kill. Because you operating illegal small-scale mining, that is a form of terrorism. That is a form of genocide. That's a form of ecocide. Yeah, that you are committed, and that is treasonous in some countries. And so, out of policy of shoot to kill, because you're engaging in small-scale illegal mining is damaging the environment, destroying our land, polluting our water bodies, and that, for me, is a form of terrorism. And so, I urge John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government to use any means necessary to flush out those wicked people who still insist on this small-scale illegal mining, yeah? Because they all they care about is getting money for themselves. They don't care about the people of Ghana. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about the water pollution. They don't care about the land pollution. All they care is getting money. And so these people must be killed by any means necessary. Yeah, because Ghana is bigger than anybody, any one person. And we know there's people out there who, because now NDC are in power, they feel now it's their turn to do galamsey. Because NPP people are doing galamsey, and now they're going, it's our turn now. No. If you do galamsey, we'll look for you and kill you because you are a terrorist to the country. You are destroying, or you are committing genocide and ecocide. And like I said in one of my podcasts last year, what we're seeing in Ghana is a genocide and ecocide right before our very eyes. And so Mahama must do any means necessary to destroy this galamsey illegal small-scale mining. Now, the fourth key aspect that Mahama needs to tackle is agriculture. Again, despite the so-called planting food and jobs, the Nana and the Danko Akufo-Addo government, they failed in agriculture because, and this is why food is expensive, because if and if in the English language is a preposition, so if planting for food and job was successful, then why is Ghana importing everything under the sun? Even basic food crops like tomato, onion, carrot, lettuce. In Contemporary, we are importing every food item. Yeah. So the importation of food into Ghana, which has then allowed hyperinflation in our food prices, is a failure of the NPP's so-called planting food and job strategy. And so Mahama's government must ensure that, firstly, Ghana is food secure. And I did a podcast again last year celebrating Farmers' Day as to why Ghana needs to be food secure. Because it is crazy that a country like Ghana, blessed with rich, fertile, arable land, is importing yam, cassava. We're importing chicken, we're importing maize, we're importing wheat, we're importing tomato, we're everything. No, that cannot continue, because all that money that we are spending importing food is money given to another farmer. So when you buy chicken from Europe, right, you are paying the European farmer. When you buy rice from Thailand, right, you are paying the Thailand farmer, giving them money. When you buy tomatoes from Italy, you're giving the Italian farmer money. So Mahama and Dennis need to invest. And what I hear from the new Minister of Agriculture is that he wants to do what General Champong did. And General Champong, for those of you who may be too young to understand or don't know, General Champong was the military ruler of Ghana between 1972 and 1978. And one of his key policies was Operation Feed Yourself, whereby General Kutu Achampong, he advised every Ghanaian to get a parcel of land, even in your own backyard, and farm, grow food. Yeah. And this is what needs to happen in Ghana. There needs to be Operation Feed Yourself Part 2, whereby Ghanaians are encouraged to get a parcel of land, whether it's a 1 acre, 5 acres, 10 acres of land, and grow your own food. Because in Ghana, we got to eat what we grow and grow what we eat. Simple. Yeah, we can't afford to use our scarce resources to import food. We know there's a cabal that has an interest in importation of food, particularly things like rice and other food staples. We know that there's people who have an interest in that, but that is only for their myopic concern. It is not in the nation's interest for Ghana to import everything. And so, for me, one of the key things that I want to see Mahama's government do this year is embark on a strategy whereby we produce what we eat and we eat what we produce. And as what we're hearing, to do a champong, in this sense, Operation Feed Yourself Part 2. And so, again, we are looking forward to Mahama's government to basically, essentially, subsidize Ghanaian farmers the way farmers subsidize in India, in the US, in the European Union, in China. Ghana needs to adopt that strategy by giving money, cheap loans, or 0% interest loans to our farmers, giving them organic seedlings, not this GMO, because again, this is another issue that Mahama needs to sort out. We don't want GMOs in Ghana, genetically modified food, because genetically modified food is basically poison that is designed to kill Africans, not just Ghanaians, but Africans. And we know GMO food, even in parts of Europe, they ban GMO because they know that it's dangerous to human consumption. And so, again, as part of the agriculture strategy of the new NDC government, they must ensure that GMOs are eradicated in Ghana because GMOs is not in our interest. GMO is basically poison under the guise of, food sustainability, under the guise of, food for all, under the guise of making food affordable, under the guise of, making Ghana food sufficient. No, our ancestors, our foremothers and forefathers, did not use GMOs. They used natural organic seeds, natural organic fertilizers, natural organic, to plant food. And they were doing that for hundreds of years. And so I urge the new energy government not to be hoodwinked by so-called international investors, by these GMOs, but by having the nation's interests at heart and investing organic food, because that is what I said is right for all these years, and that is the healthy food, not GMOs. And so, the new government needs to have a strong agricultural policy whereby Ghana grows what it eats and it eats what it grows. Simple. And now my last key area where this new government needs to focus on is health. Health is very, very poor in Ghana. Yeah, even the so-called affluent people, their health ain't that good. But because they've got the money to buy private healthcare, then at least they can be looked after in terms of illness. But generally, the public sector healthcare system in Ghana leaves a lot to be desired. And COVID, the pandemic, exposed the flaws in Ghana's healthcare system. If it wasn't for the loans or the money that Ghana received from the WHO that gave Ghana a lot of money to tackle COVID, a lot of people would have died in Ghana because of the lack of proper, basic, fundamental healthcare. And on another tangent, because of this lack of basic, fundamental healthcare, this is why a lot of Ghanaian professionals in the healthcare sector, i.e. doctors and nurses in particular, have left Ghana in the last 3 to 4 years to go into US, Canada, UK, Australia. Because like I mentioned before in one podcast, right, successive governments, and it's not NDC MP thing, this is like a Ghana government thing. Governments of Ghana since Achampong have not invested in healthcare. We haven't even got incubators for our children. Yeah, we haven't even got breast cancer screening machines. We haven't even got prostate cancer screening machines. Yeah, because of these wicked politicians who believe that because they've got diplomatic passports, they can go to the West or Asia and get healthcare treatment. What about the rest of us? And so the government, again, must invest in infrastructure. I'm not talking about building a hospital. Anyone can build a hospital. But we're talking about cutting-edge technology, like cancer screening machines, like, dialysis. Again, this is nothing that Ghanaians suffer from. Because of the bad healthcare in Ghana, many Ghanaians are suffering from kidney diseases. Even young people under 30. How can a 30-year-old and younger get kidney disease? Yeah. So this is because of this lack of good food. I'm talking about the food. That a lot of food that we're eating is poison. This imported meat in particular, imported meat from the European Union, from America, is poison. That's why Ghanaians are suffering from kidney issues. And when your kidney goes, that's it. Because the kidney is like the engine of a car. If you buy a car and the engine is weak, that basically you got no car. So again, like the kidney is the engine of your body. If the kidney becomes useless, you basically, you're gonna die. And so Ghana needs to invest wholesale in our healthcare, particularly public healthcare, where the majority of Ghanaians go to for their medical treatment. And also, they need to expand the reach of the NHIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme, by making it more accessible to many Ghanaians, and also to ensure that illnesses like cancer, like type 2 diabetes, like kidney failure are included within the National Health Insurance Scheme. Because believe it or not, health is your wealth. A healthy people is a wealthy people. Yeah, without a healthy nation, Ghana is not going to reach the target that it set itself, in terms of building a nation that we all can be proud of. And so it is incumbent on the Mahama government and the NDC to ensure that we have a first-class health infrastructure and that we have first-class healthcare delivery and that we have first-class well-being as well, because Ghanaians are dying at rapid rates. Okay, so that brings to an end this edition of Ghana in Focus with myself, Kwame. Thank you very much for listening to this edition of Ghana in Focus. Don't forget, if you like what you hear, please share to your family, your friends, social media networks. Subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube. Subscribe to Africa Ghana in Focus on Spotify. And, if you want to donate to the show to help us continue the great work that we are doing, bringing you great news from Ghana, from Africa, then you can donate to us. You just go on the website, the Ghana in Focus website, and click on the donate button, and you can donate as little as $3 a month to help us bring some great content. And so in next week's show, we're going to look at health and why there's a global healthcare crisis in the African family worldwide. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss that. There's a deep crisis globally within the healthcare that African people around the world are facing. All right. So until next week, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next edition of Ghana, Africa in Focus.